You hear a song, maybe it's a song you already know, and then you hear the voice come in, or the chord changes, or the whole thing suddenly gets bigger, and before you even think about it, your skin reacts. A wave moves down your arms, the hairs lift, tiny bumps rise across your skin. You didn't choose it to happen, your body just did it. We call them goosebumps. They show up when you're cold. They show up when you're startled. They show up during a powerful song, or maybe during a scary movie, or when something gives you chills for reasons that have nothing to do with temperature. Most of us have had goosebumps thousands of times, but we seldom stop to ask, what are goosebumps? Because goosebumps are not just a feeling. And here's the thing worth noticing. Goosebumps aren't just something you feel. They're something your skin does. Tiny muscles are contracting. Little hairs are being pulled upright because your body's trying to do something. And that's where it gets weird. Because in humans, that task barely works anymore. You see, under your skin, attached to the base of each hair follicle, there's a tiny muscle. A very tiny muscle. It's called the erector pili. That basically means hair raiser. You cannot control it. You can't flex it. You cannot practice with it. You probably go your whole life without ever thinking about it. But it is there. Right now, you have thousands of these tiny muscles spread across your body, and when your nervous system sends the signal, they contract. The hair follicle gets tugged upward, the skin around it puckers, the hair stands up, and that is what we call a goosebump. The formal name of this whole process is called piloerection. That just means the hair is being raised. Tiny muscles pull, the hair stands up, the skin puckers, and that's a goosebump. But the important part is this. The signal does not come from you. It comes from your sympathetic nerve system. That's the part of your nervous system that handles automatic reactions, like your heart rate, your sweat, or changes in your pupils. You know, the things your body starts doing before you have time to vote in a committee. They're automatic, they happen fast, and they come from old wiring, which raises the obvious question. Why would your body keep a fast automatic reflex for making tiny hairs stand up? Well, to see the answer, we need to look at an animal with actual fur. Picture a cat that just got startled. What happens? What do you see? Well, for one, you see the fur rises along its back. Its tail puffs out. The whole cat suddenly looks way bigger than it did a second ago. That's the same basic reflex. The same idea. The same kind of tiny muscles. The same automatic signal. But the difference is the cat still has something useful to raise. In a furry animal, standing their hair up can do two things. The first thing is warmth. Raised fur traps a layer of air close to the skin. That trapped air doesn't move much, so it helps hold in the heat. It's not a sweater. It's more like insulation. And on a cold night, that can matter a lot. The second thing is size. A scared animal with puffed up fur looks larger. A cat looks bigger. A dog's fur stands up along its back. Even birds can puff their feathers out until they look like round little warning signs. The message is simple. I'm larger than I looked a second ago. Maybe you shouldn't mess with me. So the goosebump reflex isn't stupid. On the right body, it's useful. It helps deal with cold or fear. It helps an animal buy a second when a second might matter. The reflex makes total sense. It just needs fur to work properly. And that's the problem humans have. We still have the muscles. We still have the wiring. We still have the switch, but we don't have the fur. Somewhere in our past, humans lost most of their thick body hair. Scientists still debate the exact reasons. Maybe it helped us stay cool. Maybe it helped us sweat more efficiently. Or maybe it was connected to long-distance movement and life in hotter environments. But whatever the full story is, the result is easy to see. Compared with many mammals, humans aren't very furry. So when your erector pili muscles fire, your little arm hairs stand up and almost nothing happens. They don't trap much heat. They don't make you look bigger. They don't scare off a predator. And no wolf is looking at your goosebumpy forearm and reconsidering its choices. Look, the machine still runs. It just isn't connected to much anymore. It's like flipping a switch in a room where someone removed the light bulb. The switch still clicks, the wiring still works, but the thing it was supposed to power is mostly gone. So why do we still have it? Well, because bodies don't get clean redesigns. Evolution doesn't walk through the body with a clipboard, crossing out every old part that no longer has a strong purpose. That's not how this works. A feature usually disappears when it costs too much, causes problems, or gets in the way. And while goosebumps don't do much for us, they also don't cost much. The muscles are tiny, and the energy used is also tiny. So there wasn't much pressure to get rid of it. So it just stayed. Generation after generation, the wiring kept getting passed down long after the fur it was built for had mostly disappeared. That's why your body can feel like a very old house. You see, some rooms are new, some rooms are useful, and some switches are still on the wall because nobody ever had a good enough reason to remove them. Goosebumps aren't only protection from the cold. That's the really interesting part. They can show up when you're cold, when you're scared, or when something hits you emotionally before you've had time to explain why. You can get them during a powerful memory, and like we said before, some people get them from listening to music. There's actually a word for that sudden shiver. It's called frisson. It comes from French, and it basically means a chill or shiver. It's that quick chill your body can throw at you when something hits you emotionally. A song, a scene, a memory, a scary moment, or something unexpectedly beautiful. And it's strange because a song is not cold. A chord change is not a predator. And a singer hitting the perfect note is not something you need to puff up about. But the nervous system is not only reacting to literal danger, it is reacting to intensity. When music surprises you in the right way, your brain can treat that moment like something important just happened. A voice enters where you expected silence. The harmony changes. The song suddenly swells. Your brain's reward system responds. It can happen with music, but it isn't only about music. Sometimes it's a movie scene, a memory, a scary moment, or something unexpectedly beautiful. Something hits you emotionally, and before you've even figured out why, your skin reacts. And the same automatic system that can raise fur in the cold can also raise tiny human hairs during a song. That's why goosebumps can feel so strange. The thing that triggers them might be beautiful, but the reaction itself comes from old survival wiring, the same kind of reflex that once helped a furry body stay warm or look bigger. A modern human hears music and an old animal reflex wakes up. And not everyone experiences this the same way. Some people get chills from music all the time, yet some people rarely do. So when a person gets chills and another person doesn't, it doesn't mean one of them is being dramatic. Their nervous systems may just be reacting differently. For some people, sound and emotion seem to connect more intensely. which means two people can hear the same song. One gets chills, and the other just thinks, yeah, that was nice. And both reactions are okay to have. The difference is not drama, it's wiring. So then, why do humans still get goosebumps? Well, it's because the reflex is older than the version of us walking around today. It made more sense when raised hair could trap warmth. It made more sense when raised hair could make your body look bigger. Then humans lost most of the fur, but the switch stayed. So now it still fires when you step into the cold. It still fires when you're startled. It still fires when something moves you emotionally. A song, a memory, a view from somewhere high, a moment that makes the world feel bigger than it did a second ago. That's what a goosebump is. A tiny muscle you can't control pulling on a hair you barely have because your nervous system is using old machinery for modern moments. It's doing almost nothing, but it does it perfectly. So every time you get goosebumps, your body is doing something very old. It's trying to raise fur you barely have anymore. The fur is mostly gone, but the old switch still works.